Kia ora. Is back. Some funny things, just some updates, just to show that they are paying attention. They do not stop watching these gang stalking, hate campaigning, weird people that have nothing better to do. So there was a few things that I shared in some of my other videos. This just cracks me up. So one of them was about cheesy grins, and that perhaps they needed the exercise. Well, it turns out that's true. So I also shared that they will use perhaps even phrases that you've used before or shared on a YouTube video. So I got the big cheesy grin from the person walking the dog right out the front of the house, directly face to face. That was crack up, because this particular person has never, ever, ever in, 6-7 months made eye contact. And I think it's, you could pretty much say every day they go past. So that was one, and I was like, he, that's from my video. And then the next one was today. I went for a walk down to the local park, and I went all around the park, and it was beautiful, and up and down the hills and under the trees, and connecting with nature. It was really nice. And I got back to my car, and I hopped in my car and I was driving off, and there was this lady coming up the street on the other side, and she was quite tall, and she had one of those big coats on that go down to your knees, and she's coming up the hill. Maybe she was pissed off about walking up the hill, but she looked straight at me and I was looking straight at her, and she did the suck lemon look, like the hostile suck lemon look, and I was like, oh, and I just busted out laughing, because I thought, oh, okay, so we've got the cheesy grin and the hostile look. So that's happened within 2 days, amongst other things, but I won't go into that. I just thought it was interesting. So I had both of those, and it's like a direct little attempt at a dig. So there's that, and the usual cars and rubbish that goes on, and beeping and carrying on. So I'm still at it, still doing it. Must be getting paid lots of money, because it was freezing today. So I was going to put together another one, and this is, I talked about the different levels of gang stalking. Like I've talked about the narcissistic butthurt ex, for example, or but there can be other levels. And one of the, not only did I have that, and still do have that going on, so it's like I've got these different factions, which is kind of funny. The other one was when the pandemic started. I was it wasn't when it started, it was a bit further on, but I wrote a letter to the government. Somebody was talking about all the law changes that they were whizzing through, and in and out the back door in like a day, and they were changing laws left, right and centre that are setting everything up, that have set everything up for now. So for example, like we're having fluoride put in our water, and we lost all our rights to that in 2021. And that was roughly back then that I started writing these letters, on the advice of a lawyer in Australia who was seeing it happening over there. And like you were supposed to have a chance to speak out about it, and they weren't giving anyone a chance, or even telling anyone what they were doing. They were just zipping these things through. So this is actually when I got poisoned, and I had gone into town, and I tracked down the lawyer company people that do all this work for the government, and they're in all of the major cities in New Zealand. So I found the one in Christchurch, and I rocked up there and said that I wanted to register my disagreement, and they were sort of like, you what? And I was like, well, you do all of this is what I want to do, can you please give me the information? So that's what I was actually doing in town that day, and visiting one of the protest camps that's set up in a park in town, and like I'd made all these chocolate things to share around and just have a chat with people and things like that, and I ended up getting bloody poisoned. So by this guy that had just walked from Raleigh prison into town. So bleeding toes. It was crazy actually when I think about it. There was a prisoner a guy dressed up like a Jewish person with like the little hat and the robes and everything, and there were bloody what do you call them? It was anti-Christ people that like upside down crosses and stuff like that. They were rocking around. It was like something out of a bloody cartoon. So anyway, the point is that I spoke out and wrote these letters to Jabsinda, or whatever they call her, in Parliament, and I was writing them to, I can't remember the names of the correct people, but I researched all of that and sent this letter off. And it was, it wasn't rude or anything. It was saying exactly what I thought about what was going on. It was really honest, and it was like, I believed in you when you came out, and you turned out to be a sham. Basically, she was a narcissist. She love bombed everyone and then showed her true colours. So it was all part of the pandemic. So I did that. So there I am on the list. It's probably a bloody terrorist or some weird shit like that. And we've got the Five Eyes thing here happening in Wellington, and I happen to be associated with some people who are related to some people, and I've been friends with police representatives' children growing up, and ex-this and ex-army that, and gangsters in Australia, and the Fitzgerald inquiry, and that was my first hint of things going global. But all of these sorts of things. So I wrote this letter. I'm probably on the list, and they're probably one of the bunch as well, because somebody's well heeled. Then I peeved off some people in the small town where the ex started the gang stalking campaign, and I spoke out against the local council there. And this particular little town has some obscenely wealthy person in it who's making his little fiefdom, and he got into trouble for some things, and I had spoken to a council member about it, and then found that my source wasn't to be trusted and was lying. So I said, I retract everything I said, because I can't trust the person that told it to me. Well, the funny thing is, like, that obviously went back to them, and they were like threatened, because there was other things going on with that situation. And the funny thing is that this particular person now has all these people that were speaking about them behind their back badly, which I'm in trouble for, and I retracted everything I said and said why. But all of these people that said this stuff to me are behind him now. So he's got all the people that were betraying him and stabbing him in the back with him now, and he's believed what was said about me and not told to him about me. And so we have that little campaign. So I think that's quite amusing that he's got untrustworthy people behind him now. So them now. So I think that's bloody karma, I tell you. So you can piss off your council people, you can piss off people in power who are not using it correctly and abusing their positions. And I experienced that with a particular council and their employees, and experienced bullying from them in public places. And wow, I tell you what, like I was so blown away when this stuff started that people could be. So I was like, this is for real. This is like stuff that you see in nasty teenage American movies. It was like, I just couldn't believe it, but it's happening, eh? And these people are really good at it. Like, so during that first campaign, I got really good at resting bitch face, and I had black sunglasses, and that was it. I went around like that for the day. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, and there's plenty of reasons why you can get on their bloody little list and get persecuted. I'll leave it there and I'll continue writing this stuff about reptilians. Let's take it to the next level. Anyway, kia ora from New Zealand. Stay safe, stay strong, and kia kaha. Cheers.